Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. I am John Spalding from June NBC Live, and we are here with Amy Lee McCorkle, award-winning writer, filmmaker, director extraordinaire. And we also have Bob Saenz with us, a return visit. And he is also a award-winning filmmaker and author. So, welcome, Bob.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, it's great to have Bob back. I saw him where I crashed a coffee for NRB, and it was him and Isaac, as usual, gave me the warmest welcome, and it was really nice to see them there, and I always am happy to see Bob and Isaac.
I was there with Jen Gotson. So.
Yeah, she seems like a really nice lady.
She's terrific. She's really, really terrific. I did Farmer in the Bell with her. And
how was that?
Well, we're getting ready to do Farmer in the Bell too. So it did super well, and I'm pretty excited about getting on board and writing the sequel.
Yeah, that is exciting. Well, so there's lots going on here too. I'm getting ready to take a trip to New York to see Macbeth in 2 sleeps, and I get to meet Daniel Craig.
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how he's going to stand it.
You got your selfie stick ready?
I mean.
I don't.
Yeah, you think of him right now. He's going, I get to meet Amy.
Right.
He's like in 2 sleeps. Oh, I think Amy just fell over. Are you okay there, Amy?
No. Yeah, I'm sitting on my bed because I wanted a better background.
That's a great background.
Well, yeah, you got a Daniel Craig background there. Funny, we had a friend out from, I live in Nashville. And
right.
We had a friend of our families out from California last week, and he'd never seen Knives Out, so we showed him Knives Out.
Oh, I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
I love that. Yes, I love that movie. Ryan Johnson did a really good job with the script, and everybody was so.
That's his film, top to bottom. He wrote it.
Yeah.
That's his film, and he did a magnificent job.
Yes, and I will say, the last episode that I did with you, I've submitted it to like 6 festivals, and one of them it won. So
it won. What did it win?
It won Best Web Series.
Well, that's nice. I don't know what we did.
Yes, so
let's do it
we
again.
talked. Let's do it again. Well, so I'm also, I don't have the picture of it now, but we have a building for our movie studio, the Wonderland 502 Center. It's 90,000 square in Louisville, Kentucky. And it has a film arm, which is currently Healing Hands Entertainment, and it's going to have a publishing arm, which we're going to focus on memoirs of marginalized individuals who have overcome great adversity. So, and it's going to be called, and the publishing house, Missy named it, and I thought it was perfect. It's called Luke's Library. Luke is my cat who's sleeping on my desk instead of me sitting at it right now. And we have a theater arm because on this property there are 2 stages. We could have musical concerts as well as theatrical productions. And don't know what the theater... So it's got a music arm, it's got a theater arm, and there's going to be a nonprofit that mentors the marginalized individuals, not only young people, but older folks who might have slip through the cracks early on who still harbor that dream of writing a book or making a film or writing a song or something like that, or writing a play. And we already have someone who wants to use the facility and produce her play. And I just got my first, I have a website, amyleecreations.com, and I teach a master class, or at least that's what the consulting thing was for. That was my publicist's recommendation. And I got my first client basically today. So, and because of that, I get to eat when I'm in New York, and I'm going to Serendipity because I'm dying to try that place because it's got the frozen hot chocolate. And
well, you have to follow your dreams.
Yeah.
It's good for you. I'm really proud of you. I mean, it's just, you set your mind to something, and you didn't give up, and there's a lot to be said for that. There's so much that can happen that will cause people to stop following their dreams. There's rejection. There's people telling you can't do it. There's all kinds of doors that you think are open that aren't. And all you have to do is just go to the next door and the next door and the next door.
And the next door and the next door. Yeah.
And it's the people who don't give up that succeed. So I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. And I'm really excited about the fact I met you. I'm not able to go to ICFF because after I go to New York this week, I'm going to Burbank the next week for the Indie Series Awards, where Letters to Daniel is nominated for Best Original Song and Best Original Score. And they, what I like about this competition is that even though it's stiff, the people who run it do their darndest to find people who will watch the projects and vote fairly. Even if I don't have Anthony Anderson or Emma Thompson in my show, I'm going to get, or I'm not got a Tony Award winner singing the song or writing the song. They're going to give me a fair shot as long as it's quality enough. And both my composer and Stephanie, unfortunately, is in Germany and she can't make the trip, which is really a bummer. And I tried to impress upon her father that she would get to sing the song live because, that's what they're doing in the play. Like they did with Billie Eilish Billie Eilish last night. They showed, the opening of No Time to Die behind her as she was singing. And that's basically what she's going to get to do. She was going to get to do. So they had to find another singer. Now, the singer's very good, but, I'm partial to Stephanie. So she's the one who wrote the song and lived it.
In Germany, there's not a lot you can do about it.
No. But if she wins, I get to ship her the trophy. So I get to accept it on her behalf. And if we win, if we don't, who cares? I get to meet all kinds of industry people. They're having a pre-party, and the win is I get to go network with these people. And Roger, he was so funny, that Roger Newcomb, who created the ISAs or the Indie Series Awards, he said, listen, most of the time it's the famous people who are more impressed with the new people than the new people who are usually disappointed in the famous people.
Well,
I don't
just go and be yourself. Don't try and don't try and make best friends with anybody. Just go and start relationships. It's just the seed of that relationship that is important.
Well, I will say, speaking of that, in 2014, I got into FilmCom with a little $345 proof of concept documentary version of Letters to Daniel, which is only a slideshow, with me talking when I had no skills, no discernible narration. I did everything because I didn't know anybody and I had no money. So it got into film com. Yeah, got into film com. And my pitch lasted maybe 60 seconds because I was so nervous standing in front of a room full of executives. And I made friends with Joel Eisenberg that first year. And he's such a good guy. And he's was always championing me and championing Letters to Daniel. And I met Cindy Cowan in 2014 very briefly, like long enough to say, hi, I'm Amy. And over the years, I stayed in touch with her over social media. And now Letters to Daniel, the limited series, is in development at her company with an executive. And we're at the point where I just did the last round of incorporation of notes, and we're going through and we're taking, now that the meat's on the bone, we're taking the fat out, and we only have to cut like 4 pages out of 64. I'm not complaining because I've had to cut more than that before. And then it goes to Cindy for consideration. So,
well, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, especially with, for me, it's like I told Hunter. It's like no matter where this process ends, I've got a much stronger pilot than I did when we first sat down with it. And I know how the process works now. I've been educated in it. Hopefully it goes as well next time. The hope is that it gets sold and it gets its run. But regardless, the creative process has been, even just, taking notes has been pure joy.
Learning how to take notes as a writer is super important if you want to do this for a living. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about that? Well, I mean, it's just there are 2 kinds of notes. Well, there are 3 kinds of notes. When you're working for a producer, those notes you do. You hate them. Yeah. Doesn't matter. You do those notes, and you do them to the best of your ability as a creative. You do what you need to do. But when you're getting notes from other people, there's 2 kinds of notes. There are the notes from people who understand what you're trying to do and help you do what you're trying to do. And then there are the notes from the people who say, this is how I do it. And those are the bad notes. Yes. And Hunter, what is great was he watched the movie first, the movie we shot. And it's an official selection at ICFF this year. If you want to see it online, it didn't get nominated, but it got in. I'm going to ICFF. I'm going to speak, and then I'm going to teach, and then I think I'm going to be on some panels. Ooh, well, I can't afford to go because I'm making 3 trips. I'm nominated all over the place at Branson, and they're also screening my documentary about Del Weston at the award ceremony in honor of Del and a screenwriter named Matt Murray who wrote David's Star or the Star. It's nominated at ICFF too, but he passed away from COVID also, and they're playing it to honor him. Okay. And so I've got basically 3 trips within the end of March to the end of April, and it's like, oh, my pocketbook's empty. I want to go to ICFF because I'd like to see you. I'd like to see Isaac. There's some people are coming who I think I would benefit from, getting to know. But sometimes, yeah, and maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe you will. Maybe I will. But it's like I didn't know how I was going to pay for food and Ubering in New York, and then I wrote the
like timeline down for the feature film I wanted to shoot this year, and I know you feel, and I totally understand that the Oscar is a go doorstop, but for me, I still want to stand on that stage, and
good for you. Everybody has to have their goals. Okay, my goal is not to get an award for something. I mean, I've gotten a few awards. I mean, I have, but my goal is to make entertainment that pleases people and gets them out of their, gives them some time to just escape and have some fun, and watch something that they like and is entertaining, and that's my goal. I don't, not really concerned about getting accolades for myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd lie if I said I didn't like them. I'd be a big fat liar, but it's not what drives me. What drives me is like just wanting to tell stories. Like I'd tell stories, and even if nobody was listening, because I can't help. Yeah,
I'm a storyteller. That's what I do for a living. That's what people hire me to do. I'm working on I'm adapting a novel right now for a million-selling novel right now.
Nice.
For one of the streamers, and I'm having fun. And I'm about halfway through it, and I sent it to the author, and the author loves it so far. So I'm happy. He knows where I'm going with it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And then I've got Farmer in the Bell 2, and then I've got a couple of other things that are now kind of bubbling up that could happen very soon. So I could have this year. I could have 3 or 4 movies this year.
Well, we were talking about that coffee that I crashed, basically, and I was talking to Jen, and I can't think of her name. I think her name is Sharon. Like one of her movies won Best Picture, like in 2016 at ICFF, like first place. And I remember her because we were both saying, "Hey, we're nominated for Best Screenplay." So, right? And I don't know how I remembered her from 2016 when I saw her face, but anyway, there was a publisher standing next to her and Jen, and I mentioned, I've written 30 books and 13 of them are on Amazon. And she was like, She handed me her card, and I may be writing a memoir for what's their name? Oh, I can't think of the publishing company now, but
it's not important.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm writing. I wrote my first novel, and it's going to get published. And
I saw that. So what's it called? What's the title?
Well, I'm not talking about it much yet. It's a.
Oh, that's right.
It's a secular kind of horror comedy adventure.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
YA title, young adult title, and it's very, very, very funny. And I've been very fortunate to find a small but very legitimate publisher who is very interested, who likes it enough to want to publish it.
Well, congratulations. It's always fun when it's like someone told me, you celebrate every little step. And because it is not, there are no guarantees in screenwriting or publishing or any of that stuff. And so when you do something like, hey, the first time I ever finished a 50,000 word novel or novella for NaNoWriMo, my parents took me out to dinner to celebrate it, right? everything. And Mom goes, how many times are we going to celebrate? I said, as many times, because you never know. You got to have, like you said, everybody's got to have goals. Everybody got to have, and I would say, I like what Denzel Washington said. He said, dreams without action ultimately fuel disappointment. And that's where you see a lot of people getting bitter. Yep.
I'm feeling very lucky. I've written 2 books, and both of them are published. They're going to be published. The first one is my screenwriting book, and that's already published. And
yes,
doing well, thank you. It's doing very well.
Congratulations.
And that's been out for 2 years. And then I've written this novel, and so I've written 2 books, and both of them are published. Going to get published, or one of them is already published, and the other one's going to be published. So I'm pretty.
Yeah. So it's like I like this. The success is good, but I know for someone like me with bipolar disorder, you got to be careful, because like when I first said I'm going to do this to my nurse, who was psychiatric nurse, she said, oh, don't be grandiose, don't be this. And then I went home and I just cried and cried and cried. I said, and then I talked to my therapist. She said, Amy, at the time, this was like 20 years ago. Oh my gosh. And she said, you are talented, because she had read some of what I wrote. Although if I read it now, I'd say, oh, I'm not showing that to anybody. And but she was very supportive, and she goes, Amy, you are doing things. This isn't just you talking out of bipolar grandiosity.
If I had $1 for everybody who told me I couldn't do something, then I would have lots of dollars. I had people telling me I couldn't be a screenwriter. I had people telling me I couldn't be a novelist. I had people telling me I couldn't be a musician. I had people telling me I couldn't be an actor and be in movies. I had people telling me I couldn't that I couldn't be on a TV show. I had people telling me I couldn't be a radio disc jockey, or I couldn't do voiceovers for cartoons or video games or any of those things. And I've done all of that.
Exactly. Yeah, you've just got like someone. I once went to a counselor who probably he meant well, but he goes, Amy, you're very driven, and only God can tell you if you should be driven. And I was like, what? But what he didn't know was that I had bipolar disorder, and he was telling me something that meant absolutely nothing. Right? Even though I dreamed these big dreams, he wasn't assisting me. And when I came out of that, I said, Mom, I'm not going back to him, because he doesn't know what's going on with me. Even though we all knew something was wrong, telling me that God only, right? I had people tell me at festivals, I had 2 people tell me, only God can call men to direct. And I was like, well, I won't say what I was like. But on the inside, I was like a lot of things.
There are quite a few places in the Bible, which I read all the time.
Yes.
Quite a few places in the Bible that says, you shouldn't speak for God.
Yeah. No, just maybe. Yeah, exactly. It's like I always.
I haven't got a problem telling people that when they say things like that. If you'd like, I'll come up with half a dozen quotes where it says, "Don't speak for God."
Yeah.
For himself.
I think it's interesting. At the same time that those people said that to me, I also ran in, like Cindy Bond was at the festival, and she took a 45-minute lunch with me and allowed me to pick her brain. She bought the Letters to Daniel book, even though her studio ultimately chose not to make it. But that was she didn't have to sit with me for 45 minutes and pay for my lunch and buy my book. And then that went a long way to counteracting maybe people speaking for God when they shouldn't have been. So, I felt very blessed. that, you know, anytime it's like, you know, the thing with the studio, with mentoring people who are marginalized, I'm talking financially marginalized, women, people of color, you know, everybody who's ever been marginalized and not had that opportunity, and maybe older folks, because I have a friend who's in the industry and he finds a hard time getting hired because when they see his resume, it's like, oh yeah, let's hire him. But when they see him and he's 72 years old, it's like they shut down. And it's really sad. It's like, so it's not just I want to help young people. I want to help older people too, who might be falling through the cracks. And that's what inspired me. And
I applaud you for that. I think that's fabulous. And I hope you keep going and you find those people and you help them, because it's a really fine thing to do.
I would say for me, protecting my mental health during this time, because like I said, after I spoke with you, as I was telling you, Del Weston, who is a really big mentor, he's actually on the certificate that's over that, like they did a graphic art thing. What was it for? Oh, it's when I got the Founders Award for my body of work at AOF. And he really believed in me, and I didn't need money from him. I didn't need that. I just needed encouragement and wisdom and advice. And sometimes when you got that, and he just believes in you absolutely, you know, when he was that person, and that first person in the industry to really like say, hey, you can do this. You have what it takes, you know. And I think you don't have to hear that, but when you do hear that, it makes it kind of takes a weight off of you and frees you up to do the things that you were always dreaming you could do. So that's just me and my 2 cents. For me, I've had to be careful because, like, I was watching the SAG Awards, and grief is a funny thing. You know, I've lost 2 aunts with COVID, and I've lost a friend who had a massive heart attack, and then Dell passed away about 3 weeks later. And I'm watching the SAGs in memoriam, and all of a sudden I just started bawling. I said, I recognize all the people. I said, I don't know these people, but I know I wasn't crying for them. I know I was crying for my aunts, who were always very supportive, and Dell and Anthony. And so have you ever had that happen to you, where actually you're grieving for something and you're watching a movie maybe, and then the emotion that you maybe not processed yet just kind of leak out all of a sudden?
Not that I can remember, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. I think it's good for you if you do that. I watch movies purely to enjoy them. I don't, since I make them, I could pick them apart if I wanted to, but I don't. I watch movies to enjoy them, because I think that any movie that gets made is a miracle. And I think that any good movie that gets made is the second miracle. So any good movie is a 2 miracle movie.
Yeah.
And I watch films to just plain old enjoy them. I voted in the SAG Awards. I vote in the SAG Awards.
Oh, wow. I know somebody voted in the SAG Awards.
No, I've been in SAG for now going on 30 years. So I've been in tons of movies.
I remember last time we talked about it, I was like, wow, I didn't even know that part. You know, I just knew you were just a proficient screenwriter and proficient writer.
I kind of quit acting and started writing, and I'd been in a ton of movies, and I was on a TV show for 6 years, and I decided to concentrate on writing, and since then I've had 18 produced movies. So I think you're doing pretty good. God has been very, very good.
Yeah. Yes. It's like, I like to say that too. I've been very blessed. I like to say I'm blessed. And I said, people say, well, you're so lucky. I said, well, all luck really is preparation meeting opportunity. And luck looks like a lot of hard work.
There has to be some skill involved. You can be prepared and have opportunity, but you have to have the goods too. You have to have what people want. You have to have some skill in putting together projects that people will want to make.
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast the third weekend, a fiction podcast of The Guardian that I wrote. I submitted. It was like an official selection at it's won some things. It's been runner up. Yeah, it's gotten a little traction, and the book actually did really well. It, between print and ebook, it did a little over 450,000 copies sold. So it had kind of, yeah.
Really, really, really good.
Thank you. We're doing a fiction podcast. One of the people I'm involved with, the Wonderland 502 Center, has a recording booth, and we're going to take the actors one by one, and we're going to have really good sound, and I'm using it as a way to raise awareness for the film and use it as a money-making tool for the film. So it's about a young woman who has bipolar disorder in a dystopian world where she's been stripped of her human rights, and they hunt mentally ill people and kill them. And her symptoms, when they manifest, not only is she manic or depressed, sometimes they manifest in supernatural powers or paranormal powers. And she hears voices, and she doesn't know, is this the voice of God or is this my disease? You know? And what if it's both? You know? And that's the question posed, and that's kind of the premise for the story. And it looks to confront stigma, because she believes in God. It looks to confront what stigma in society as a whole, and sometimes when it slips into even church. So it quite right. So she has a strong faith in God, but it's a matter of her embracing it and embracing her purpose, and finding out what her role in the world is really supposed to be.
Sounds interesting. Sounds really good.
Thank you. Isaac is the executive producer on the film that we're making with it. So
very good. I love Isaac. I think he's a sharp guy.
Yeah, I met him in 2018, and I kind of stalked him on Facebook and got I said, hey, can I pick your brain? And we set aside a time to talk, and he read Letters to Daniel. He read 2/3 of it. We met at NRB. I crashed it, took a bus from Louisville to Nashville, and he said, you know, what he said was, you're unstoppable and your friend is amazing, who nobody has met except John, who knows she exists, Missy. And he said, based on this, I'm going to, and everybody knows what letter of intents are worth, but it was enough to motivate me. He gave me a letter of intent to distribute, and he was the first one to show. It was just, you know, it was that faith, you know, that encouragement, that something. I said, I don't have much. Yeah. It's those people that come along in your life, and it's like, I don't know who said this, but he said, I'm standing up here on a lot of different people's shoulders. And so even though all the success has come my way, I would say I've had people who believe in me, even though, I was sexually abused as a child. The people, my mom and stepdad, were not those people, and I was loved unconditionally by them. So I had a counterpoint to that, and that wasn't my reality every day, but the love was for like most days. So I feel like because of like my mom and my dad and Missy, people like John Spalding, who is broadcasting this, and Isaac, and and Dell's wife Teresa, it just, and Ray Such and Christina Michelle and Imaginarium, like all these places. I just want to make sure everybody, like someone said, they're heard. Okay, Barbara and Tara. Aaron True, her daughters go, she's always thanking everybody. Why doesn't she thank you? I said, because there's so many people to thank. They just like, right? I'm like, how many? I'm like, I love you, Barbara. If I forget your name on Facebook, you know me in real life. That's more important,
Well, I have so many people I can thank. I mean, it's just so many people that I have been so instrumental in helping me get to where I am right now. It's unbelievable. There's some people that went out of their way to help me advance my career, and they're amazing human beings, and some of them don't even realize how much they did help me.
Yeah. So, John, I think we've covered just about everything that a return. Do you have some things you want to say or ask?
Well, it's always interesting to hear Bob's story. Laura did say fingers crossed, and that was when you were talking about Letters to Daniel and the score being in the film festival. I had a little bit of time. What's that, Bob?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, I thought I heard. Okay. And so I always like hearing the story, because it's funny, we're doing the description, we talk about how to make your dreams come true, and it's interesting your perspective, Bob, in terms of how you really stress living your own life, doing hard work, not giving up, and
life
just
experience.
Yeah.
I have I don't know if we talked about this the last time, but I have a bucket list that I've had since I was like 13.
Okay.
And it has, excuse me, I'm going to mute myself. I have a bucket list since I was about 13, and it's got literally dozens of things on it, like whitewater rafting the Colorado River, climbing a mountain. I climbed Mount Rainier. I whitewater rafted the Colorado River. Go to Asia. Go to Europe. Go to these different places. Be in a movie. Be on the radio. Do all these things that play a concert in front of a large crowd. And these are all the things that I've accomplished, and I've crossed them off the list.
Is there anything left on the list?
Yeah, there's lots. I wanted to go to the moon.
Call Bezos.
Yeah, I'll call Jeff. But there are a lot of things on the list that I still haven't done. But there are a lot of things that I have done. I wanted to play golf at St. Andrews in Scotland. I haven't done that yet. There's some things that I want to do, but a lot of them I have, and they have given me infinite life experience that I can draw on as I write. It doesn't matter if I'm writing about these things. It's just that I've experienced all of these different things that I can use as life experience to work. One of the things that I think hurts a lot of young writers is they think they just need to sit down and write and not go out and experience it.
Right.
They need to get the world and get out and experience stuff, do things, meet people, be active. If you've always wanted to do something, do it. I didn't have a lot of money, but I didn't have. It was tough for me, but I did a lot of these things because they were important for me. As life is that long, and if you don't take advantage of it, then I'm sorry. No
Yeah,
story.
that's what. Well, and I also appreciate your story, like how you really kind of started as an actor and then fell into or got into or honing your craft of being a writer, and then that's kind of where you are now, is doing the screenwriting. And can you hold up your book again and just intro the title?
And I'm doing some producing now too, so which I'm pretty happy about. I'm going to produce this. I'm one of the producers on the movie that I'm writing now. And then I'm going to got an offer to write another movie, and they offered a producership. Yeah.
Cool.
It's called "That's Not the Way It Works." As soon as that comes out, a no-nonsense guide to the craft and business of screenwriting. It's different than most books in that it's about the business of screenwriting. It's about what to do after you write your script.
Right
and
on.
A lot of people. There's been hardly any books out there. And you can benefit from my experiences, from what I learned trying to market my scripts and making lots of mistakes and learning how to do things right. So everybody has to take their own path.
Yep.
Anybody who tells you that they have the path to success is trying to fleece you, because there is no one path. You have to You really have to forge your own path. You can do it with knowledge, and you can do it with experience, but you have to forge your own path.
Right on.
There's no one way. When I write my books and I'm giving my advice, I'm saying, listen, this worked for me. It may not work for you, but this is how I did it. That's how I phrase it in the books. And I said one thing. And the one thing I say, and the single most important thing, actually, I think Dove S. Simmons ever taught me, was that the single most important ingredient, he said there's 8 ingredients, and the 8th one is the most important, is perseverance.
Don't give up.
Just keep going. Don't give up.
Yep.
Keep putting one foot in front of the other.
That's true. That's one of the keys.
Oh.
You can't succeed if you stop.
Right.
Right on.
Right. So, does anybody have anything else?
I have one more thing. He had said that he was an actor, and he did this time. I didn't pick it up last time. Said that he was on a series, and so I had some time, when you guys were talking, to scour the internet, and so I came across this bad boy right here. I don't know if you can see it. Who is that? Who is that?
That is me on the set of Nash Bridges, where I did 122 episodes of that show as that character.
Look at that! Sergeant Haskins.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I was on that show for 6 seasons.
Did you ever party with Cheech?
Yes. Cheech doesn't smoke.
No kidding. He just does movies about smoking.
Yep.
Tommy then does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I met Tommy.
Awesome.
Tommy, yeah.
I met Tommy. He definitely does. But Cheech stopped when his kids were born.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Makes sense.
But a great guy.
I do.
One of the all-time great guys.
That's cool.
Just funny and super intelligent.
Oh, sure. I think that's why he was able to do so well. And, he picks projects and does projects that are good, smart, that a lot of people like. So
he's just a terrific human being. I've got all the greatest respect for him. And Don Johnson.
I think.
Yeah. Don Johnson is a prince of a guy. He's a really, really nice man, and he was extraordinarily nice to me. So I have nothing but wonderful things to say about him.
Well, we will put up. Send Amy a link. Send Amy a link to your book so we can put it up on the description for today's show.
Available at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, the Nook, Apple, anywhere you can get books. It's and hopefully my novel, when it comes out, will be also available. And I'll come back on, Amy, when the novel comes out. I'll come back on.
Yes. Hey, that sounds like a plan.
Good.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, we want to thank Bob Saenz, author, writer, and actor. And Amy, thanks for your updates. Thanks for hosting. What do we got next Monday?
Next Monday is probably, it's probably Dale N. Green. He is also a writer I met at Branson and ICFF. And he wrote the script Sugar Creek, which I think finished second at the Nieves International Christian Film Festival. And
somebody I like a lot.
Yes, I love Dale.
His name's Dale Green?
Yes, Dale N. Green. And we have to work around his schedule. I think we have to record it in the morning, if that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'll reach out to him and see what his schedule looks like, and we'll do it Monday next week, because then I'm flying out to Burbank on next Tuesday, and also I get to have coffee with Kevin Smith, who is one of my favorite directors.
Good time. Just have a lovely, wonderful time.
And you're going to New York Thursday, right?
Wednesday,
okay.
And then I want pictures of you and Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
you better believe it. Let's see it.
I can't imagine how excited he is to meet you. So.
He's had this day marked on his calendar for the last 3 months. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Recovery Unplugged Live. Thanks, Bob Saenz.
Have a great day. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody out
John.
there, thank you. Listen to Amy and her show. And see you later.
Later.
Okay, later.